Hi, Shane again here. If you haven't liked the video and subscribed, please do so. Subscriptions help because if we get to 1,000, then I get ad revenue, which would be cool. But either way, these are fun to make. So in a previous video, I talked about permission groups. I'm going to also use that now to kind of look at how we can create a workflow, because towards the end of it, I talked about making a workflow, and I realized I didn't actually make the video on how to make a workflow. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to say my workflow is going to work off the 3 permission groups. So I'll have a link in this to the other video I made that goes over that. But I have permission groups here, permission groups 1, 2, and 3. If I save permissions, it will make changes to a user that change their permission level. And that's how I'm going to look at this workflow. And I'm just going to use that so I don't have to log in and out multiple times. But imagine I have an assembly line or something to that effect at a company, maybe a manufacturer, and we're going to make something and it's going to move through a series of stages. So we're going to have, make a group real quick here. I'm just going to start putting stuff into this group. So in this group, I'm going to have a drop down. And there. I'm going to have an input. Actually, you know what? We're just going to have an input. We'll make it super simple, because you can add all kinds of stuff, but we'll make it here. Oops. Let's call it start project, and this is what's going to happen. So this group is only going to be visible to users that have a user permission of 1. Okay? So only user permission 1 can see this. And what start project will do is it will create something we are going to call a new thing. Do we have a concept of project in here? No. Cool. We're going to call it a project. So we do have project. Great. So previously I created things called projects inside of one of my other videos, and I'm just going to grab that same thing here. I'm going to create new fields. I'm going to call a stage. Create a new field for a stage. Stage will be a text field. Project stage will be, we'll call it unstarted. We're just logging that there is a project. Stage is going to equal, actually, we want to equal drop down. So we want to do this. No, we don't. Drop down's for the name of it. We want this to be unstarted, just right off the bat, unstarted. Great. Just let me type. If you click, it a lot of times makes you pick from the drop down, even if you don't want to. And that was my mistake there. It's good to learn silly things you can do so you don't do it. I already have the concept here of project name, so I'm just going to use that, and that is going to be input A. It's value. Good. And then we'll go here and it will be reset relevant inputs. Perfect. So permission level 1 can see this group, and let's make this one a input should not be empty. And what they can do is they can start projects. They can create a project which we then want to go to somebody else to see what the project is. They don't know what the project actually is supposed to entail, so let's add another box to this. Slightly more complex. Let's add a multi-line input. It'll just be details. Okay, go back to project, and we will do create a field. Again, the extra fields that you're seeing in this, you're seeing because I've used this for other videos that have explained other concepts. So this one will be multi-line details value. Great. Good. So also this one should not be empty. So when my permission group is 1, I will see this group, and I designate that by permission group is 1, element is visible. Element is not visible on page load. So we take off that. So right now the element will not be visible. Great, so we do not have elements visible on page load. Let's quickly make sure that works. Okay, permission level 2, nothing. Permission level 1, there it is. Open. Project notes, start project, it gets reset. Perfect. So what I want is another group, right? So the next person who gets it is going to get stuff. So we want a group, and then I'm actually going to create a repeating group that's going to grab projects. So I'll grab anything that's a project. It will just do a search for projects. I'm not going to do anything fancy with the search on this. We're going to see a lot of different ones that show up, but those will be from other programs I've done. So current cells, projects, project name. Great. Actually, I can make it filter really easily. I'll go into in here, and now we'll make this button do something. Start and edit workflow. Is new. Field type yes or no. Create is new, yes. Then I will filter this one so it's all the is new stuff. So when I search for projects, is new equals yes, which is a good way to just make sure you're filtering data too, is to tag something and then add it in. So now anything I put in here will show up down here, and we're not going to get the data from the other apps I've built inside of this program, because I basically just have one sandbox I build everything in, just because it's a lot easier than going through and trying to just make a new app. Every time I want to do a video, it's easier to just put everything in one place. I just have one sandbox, unless I have a lot of sandboxes. So I might say here, this will be verify build notes, and verifying build notes might move it to a new stage. So, okay, great. So I have, if you push start project, right, what it's going to do is, to recap, we have it go to unstarted is the stage. So in here, we need to do something else. We want to say insert dynamic data. Let's grab the current cells projects. We called it project details on this, correct? Yeah, we called it project details for this. Great. So we're going to change this button to be verify project details, just for where verify project details. Perfect. And then I like to line them up, look a little pretty. So I'm verifying project details. You're in this. There we go. Be a little bit taller and lined up there. Good. So I verify project details, and we want that to then change the stage. So right now, when that's pushed, let's have it go to data and things, make changes to a thing. We will change current cells projects. Let's change the stage to stage will now equal started. And this is just one of many ways to do something like this for a workflow. But once we change that to started, this will disappear from this area. Well, actually, it will stay in this area unless we adjust it. So search for projects. We also want the stage to equal unstarted. And let's see, actually, because I typed it in manually, I want to make sure unstarted, I did capitalize it. So let's make sure I do it exactly the same down here. If you don't type these things in exactly, they will not filter correctly because it will say it's not exact, right? So let's do that. Perfect. So we have that going. It should drop into here. This group, we're going to do conditional on current users. User permission is 2. And then we're going to say element is visible. And then we will say is not visible on page load. Great. So what we have now is person 1, permission level 1 should be able to see this box, start a project, right? With details. We should then be able to have that show up down here for person 2 when we change our permission level to person 2. They will be able to see the project name, see the details, verify the details. We don't have anything for person 3 yet, for permission 3 yet, but we're going to do that next. We want to make sure these are working before we're progressing through. And this is an easy way to build workflows all on one page. So we've got it set at 1 right now. Let's make 1. There, start project. Great. And notice nothing else showed up here, right? Nothing else showed up here because we're still in permission 1. Go to permission 2. Permission 2 now can see testing 1, notes 1. And it can't see the previous one. But why do I have this gap up here? That doesn't look good, right? I can keep it all on the same page, but what I got to do here is I got to say if element's not visible, I want to hide it. So collapse element's height when hidden. We'll check that, and I'm going to go back to this page and reload. And that little button is going to make this look so much nicer when you're changing out different users and stuff. So, for instance, user 1 has this here. User 2 has this here. That allows each user to be able to operate out of just one page, right? So you've loaded one page, you've only built one page, everything's in one place. You've built the flow that way. But now when users come in, they see different things. And that's part of my user permission video that also came out the same day as this one. So if I have user 3 though, user 3 can't see anything. So user 3, I am going to actually I'm going to end up copying and pasting this group because it'll be the easiest way for me to do this. And I'm going to quickly change this to be conditional. Instead of 2, let's go with 3. And I believe this button up here changed it to started. If I check out what we called it, started. Copy that. So, and we'll change the filter on this repeating group. So search for projects, started. So anything here should now show up down here. And it will show the projects, and then we will go from this one to be complete, and we will change what this does here into being a, whoa. Okay. Button completed is clicked, and we will say data and things, make changes to a thing, change thing, current cells project, current cells stage. Let's change it to, oops, we want to change it outside of this. Completed. And then maybe we want something for all of them too. So we have this group here, all of them can see, but maybe we want, let's make another group everyone can see. And we'll be able to do a little better here too. So I have this group that we will collapse when hidden. Did I collapse this one when hidden? Collapse that one when hidden. This one can only be seen by 2. This one can only be seen by 3. This one can be seen by everyone. It doesn't ever need to be collapsed. So we'll remove that condition, and we will go to delete that box because we don't need that. And we will say here, search for projects. Instead of started, we'll do completed. as long as I type that in exactly the way I did up here, which I believe I did. We're good. Yeah, this should be 100% good. So now let's preview what we have. So I have permission level 1. You can see this. Where's my other box down here? I wanted to be able to see this. Oh, you know what? This is probably there. It just doesn't have any data. Oh, nope. I need to check visible on page load. That was the problem. So visible on page load here. But it likely won't really show anything yet because there's no data to show. So we're going to have to do a couple things here to make sure. Yeah, see, it's just an empty empty scroll bar. But my permission level is 1. We'll save it as 1 again real quick. But the testing 2 notes, start project, nothing shows up here, right? And nothing shows up here. But I go to permission group 2, page changes again. I verify project notes for number 2. I can also verify project notes for number 1. I'm going to leave number 1 here just for tracking so I can always see it. It's there because this is just a test page. Save permissions 3. Number 2 is now for number 3, right? So this could have drop downs and stuff too. This could have it where you enter data or like a measurement. But right now I just go here and I have it set up to click complete. And what it did was it moved down here. So this is my group I made for completions. So if I click save, up here back to 1, I can see this is completed. So actually, to make it prettier, I should put some like header here that says completed projects. That'll look a little bit prettier. And I'll put you in here. You're in this group. Nice little happy family of completed projects there. And we'll reload it. We'll push another one through just to display what we did again. So I am permission level 1 right now, right? This is one user has this permission level. You would not designate this on a page. This would be designated on like an admin setting page. You'd go to like a user profile. You would say setting number 1. They can see this, and this is a workflow we built. So this is testing 3. Testing 3 notes. Start the project. We can see projects we've completed in the past year. So this user can see how many things that they've attributed to the completion of. And number 2. So this user can go in and they can see this is everything we need to verify, right? So they come in, they look at the notes, they verify, yeah, the project's ready to go. Send the project on, right? They verify the project details. Great. It goes to person number 3. Person number 3 completes the project. Person number 3 looks at the details, they look at the work that was done, and they say, yes, we did it. And bang, it goes over there. It drops down there. They can see all of that they've completed. So your team just has a running look at what you have completed. Now, this is super simple workflow for what you'd want to do. You can build out far more complex workflow. You could have these projects clickable. So you could have it set so there is something in here that they click to verify they did it, but they could also have it set so that, say, person 2 in the line opens up his, clicks on what this page, it would come up to a list of different projects, and he might have to click here and enter a quantity. He might have to enter a measurement, or they might need to paint something. She might have to go in and open up another page, so they could click on another button that might be here, or you could turn the text here into a hyperlink, and it would be basically just open up to another page, and that other page could actually be something that says here's more things that you have to add, and it's a whole bunch of data you have to add, or maybe they have a lot of details that they go through to verify a project's ready to go, and they verify like a big page of details, and maybe it's stuff we got from a customer that's ready to work with us, and then they send it along. And then the next person that gets it, they go in, they look at their list of permissions that they have here, and they enter some data. And you could have 100 people in a row, 100 sets of permissions that people have to go through, and 100 stages that something's in. And then you could even run a report that would say, set it up to see how many things are in each stage. So how many of these projects are in each stage. So you might have a reporting function on another part of your app that says, this is how many pieces or how many chairs we have in stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. We're going from unprocessed good into finished goods and allocating your inventory to them. It gets a lot more complex, but you can build it out. Hope this is helpful. This is a look at permissions as well as building a workflow inside of Bubble.